Today on this edition of This Old Bike, we're going to do a by request video from some of the fans out there on YouTube, a side-by-side comparison of the KTM 690 versus the Rally Raid CB500X. I've got a lot of questions about the comparison of the two since I currently happen to have both of the two bikes. And since I can talk a lot faster than I can type, it's just easier to make a video of the comparison. Two bikes designed to do the same thing, long-range adventure riding. However, two completely different designs, two completely different approaches. They are really two distinctly different bikes. First, I want to point out that both of these bikes have had extensive amount of time, effort, energy, and money spent on them, getting them set up to be true long-range adventure bikes. In their stock configuration, they come quite short for hitting that mark. And fortunately, the good folks at Rally Raid provide kits to make these two bikes the long-range adventure bikes that you're looking for. Now, I've owned just about every bike in this class, this 600, 650 size dual sport class, the Honda XR 600, an XL 650, a KLR 650, a DR 650. I've ridden the V-Strom 650, and even owned a KTM 640. These two are the top of the line for the size category that we're talking about, in my opinion, at this time. But two completely different bikes. What is it that makes them two completely different bikes? The design approach. The KTM 690 is a single-cylinder racing thoroughbred. The CB500X is a mild two-cylinder, ostensibly a street bike, modified into an adventure bike. So the approach is from two completely different angles, and the result is surprisingly different. Some of the obvious specification differences: the KTM 690 weighs in a little over 310, probably 330 pounds, all decked out for adventure. The Rally Raid, or the CB500X stock weight starts at 430 pounds, closer to 450, fully adventured out, ready to ride. So quite a bit of weight difference. Horsepower: the single-cylinder KTM is putting out over 60 horsepower, 62, 63 horsepower on the one-cylinder LC4 engine. The CB500X is only putting out 47 horsepower, parallel twin, to meet European licensing requirements. And therein lies the biggest difference between the two bikes, in my opinion: single-cylinder versus twin. We'll talk more about that in a second. Now, I don't know if I can get an angle here that shows it, but another huge difference is the wheelbase. The CB500X has a much more narrow wheelbase than the KTM 690. This particular KTM 690 has been lowered already 1 inch internally through the suspension, but it is still an extremely tall bike. Let's see how tall they are. The seat height on the CB500, about 34 inches. It's up approximately 2 inches from stock after this level 3 Rally Raid conversion has been done on it. About 34 inches. And of course, these numbers are going to sag a little bit once you sit on the bike. And with the seat concept seat on the KTM 690, you're looking at a darn near 37-inch seat height. And that's after the bike's been lowered 1 inch. So what about real-world comparisons? If you're a young rider that likes to rip and tear, or is really rally race ready for hard riding, there's nothing that can beat the KTM 690. But in a practical sense, if you want to go on a long-range adventure with minimal fuss and just enjoy the ride, the Rally Raid CB500X is my bike of choice. Why? Because it's got the twin parallel, quiet power, ease of riding, smooth, quiet, very much more comfortable on the highway for those highway sections. The KTM 690 has minimal wind protection and gets a little bit wobbly on the high-speed tarmac section, and can be very uncomfortable in those conditions. The CB500X is built for that. Now, with the level 3 conversion by Rally Raid, I am comfortable taking this bike anywhere this bike can go. I just won't do it as fast as you can go on this bike. And at my age, I can't ride that fast anymore all day long anyways. So if you're a little more older rider and you want to really go long range, the CB500X I think is the better choice. At only 5.5 feet tall, you can see how big this bike is for me to handle. And getting on and off of it, see, is a little bit of a chore. And at the end of a day of riding something as aggressive as this, you might be popping some ibuprofen. I mean, you'll be having a hell of a good day of riding at it, but this is a racing bike. And this is one of the features I really enjoy about the CB500X, is the ease and ability to jump on and off of it all day long. Especially like me doing a lot of videos or photographs or exploring around, I want to be able to stop and smell the roses and hop on and off the thing all day long. A lot easier on this machine. Smoother, quieter, more comfortable. And the one last and big concern that I have about the KTM is the kind of riding I like to do, thousands of miles away from home, sleeping, camping off the bike, hundreds of miles from anybody else. I need the damn thing to start in the morning, and I really sometimes worry about the KTM and its reliability in those kind of conditions. I mean, it's a reliable bike, but it just can't stand up to the Honda for that kind of peace of mind reliability way out there in the bush. As you watch more and more videos of guys going on these adventures, you see more guys spending time fiddling around with the sometimes temperamental KTMs than you ever do on the Hondas. And that kind of peace of mind allows you to do long range adventuring way far away from civilization without worries. It takes a big load off of your mind, and I tell you, that is a big stressful load on your mind if you got to worry about maintenance or breaking down in the middle of nowhere by yourself. And both of these bikes represent a section of the market that I want to see the market expand on. Everybody going for these giant bikes. Here's an older R1150 RT. This is the size of a 900 to 1200 cc adventure bike. I mean, this is a street bike here, but that's the size and weight that the market is headed for, and it's just ridiculous. You're not going to take that thing off-road like you can these. So I really hope to help to see and change the market for more reasonably sized adventure bikes like these 500 to 600 cc size machines, 300 to 400 pounds. So which bike's better? Well, they're both great bikes. They both do completely different things. If you want to rip and tear, race ready, 60 plus horsepower, 100-mile-an-hour dirt bike, get the KTM 690. If you want to really cover a lot of distance smoothly and comfortably and with peace of mind, consider the Rally Raid CB500X Level 3 Adventure. And of course, don't forget maintenance. This has about a 16,000 mile interval between valve checks or valve adjustments recommended, and the KTM is, I think, 3,000 miles between valve inspections or valve checks. Just to give you an idea of the maintenance difference between a racing bike and ostensibly a city bike.